Some brands spend a century earning trust. Others wake up with waitlists. From $10,000 to $100 million sounds like sorcery, but it's a repeatable luxury playbook. Tonight, we trace how scrappy ideas, scarce drops, and precision storytelling detonated into 9 figures. You'll see the triggers, the receipts, and the traps the overnight narratives never show. And we'll keep asking the only question that matters: hype or enduring house? Start with the handbag that turned a small studio into a cultural signal, scarcity engineered as hospitality. Instead of begging wholesale, the founders set a calendar, trained customers to show up, and sold out in minutes. Price wasn't the lure, belonging was. Resale flipped drops into billboards, celebrities carried for pure status oxygen, and a mid-4-figure P&L suddenly supported a factory upgrade. By industry chatter, this model took a brand from tiny production runs to 8 figures before traditional advertising even started. Then there's the watch micro brand that turned Instagram wrists into storefronts. 2 founders, a few $1,000s, direct-to-consumer margins, and hundreds of micro-influencers paid in product, not cash. No boutiques, no glossy heritage, just minimal design, relentless UGC, and retargeting that stalked you for weeks. Within a few years, revenue reportedly hit 9 figures, and an established group wrote a 9-digit check. Call it accessible luxury, call it algorithm couture. The result was the same: scale without stores. Beauty proves how one voice can bend an industry overnight. A celebrity-led launch with inclusive shades, viral reviews, and day one global distribution reportedly crossed $500 million in year 1. Was that luck? No. The team inverted the old funnel. Audience first, product second, department store third. Luxury isn't just a price, it's permission, and permission now travels at the speed of a post. Streetwear wrote the modern scarcity manual, then sold the manual to the establishment. One label's modest first store budget in the low 5 figures turned into billion-dollar headlines decades later. How? Ruthless editing, ironclad codes, and drop calendars that taught fans to set alarms, not opinions. By the time legacy groups came knocking, the brand didn't need distribution. Distribution needed the brand. Even Champagne learned the new math. A once quiet QV, reborn under a music mogul, traded controversy for cultural clout, and later partnered with the biggest luxury group on earth. The bottle became a mic drop, the club became the showroom, and scarcity moved from vineyards to VIP lists. Traditionalists called it gauche, but sales called it strategy. So what really turns $10,000 into $100 million? 5 levers, pulled in sequence. First, a spine, one sentence that explains the world and the brand's place in it. Second, visual codes you can spot from across the street. Hardware, silhouettes, colors, or typography. Third, controlled access. Drops, invite-only, capsules, and deliberate stockouts that turn patience into status. Fourth, proof, receipts, auction comps, celebrity adoption, and resale heat that builds a public spreadsheet of desire. Fifth, distribution that says no. Fewer doors, better doors, and a direct channel that tells the story daily. Here's the contrast the overnight myth hides. Heritage houses by decades of memory. Upstarts rent attention by the week. Masons invest in workshops and stone. Newcomers invest in software and stories. Old luxury waits for critics. New luxury ships, measures, and ships again. One model compounds craft, the other compounds culture. Let's talk receipts, because the invoices make the myth real. With $10,000, you can sample a bag, shoot a campaign on iPhones, seed 30 micro-creators, and stage a tiny pop-up. If each creator moves 10 units at $450 with a 70% gross margin, you're profitable on day 1. Reinvest, raise minimums, and lock factories into quarterly capsules, not open orders. Add waitlists to predict demand, dynamic pricing to protect margin, and a resale partnership to publish perceived value. That's how a small roll becomes inventory confidence, and inventory confidence becomes 9 figures. Of course, explosions can implode. The same scarcity that fuels heat can starve cash flow if factories slip or fakes flood the channel. The antidote is boring. Deposits, staged POs, serial numbers, and third-party authentications that flow back into marketing. Because nothing says luxury like certainty, And nothing says certainty like a refund policy you rarely need. Upstarts that survive the first boom make one hard pivot, from launches to systems. Collabs look like fireworks, but the real lever is distribution discipline. Say no to off-price. Yes to museum shops and one hotel gift store where your story lives on a human tongue. Sign one blockbuster partner. Then hold the line for 2 years to let pin-up demand thicken. When you finally open more doors, you open fewer than the spreadsheet wants, and you open them slowly. So does any of this truly happen overnight? From the outside, yes, the graph spikes in a quarter. From the inside, it's years of patient code writing, brand codes, supply codes, community codes. And then one moment, one post, one runway shot, one cosign, collapses time. That's when $10,000 looks like destiny and $100 million looks like gravity. Jacquemus sells a mood, Telfar sold a movement. MVMT sold a feed, Supreme sold a ritual, a champagne brand sold a lifestyle that photographed itself. Different products, identical levers. If you learn the levers, you can engineer your own luck. Start with a clean sentence and one product that earns its price in hand, not on paper. Hard cap supply, overinvest in photography, and talk to your community like they own shares. Treat every sellout as a research memo, not a victory lap. Because the only thing harder than exploding is landing, on time, on brand, and still exclusive. So here's the final contrast. Old luxury says, remember us. New luxury says, participate with us. If you're building, decide which sentence you're writing this year. Because the next brand that jumps from $10,000 to $100 million will look sudden to everyone but you. And when it happens, remember, hype starts the engine, systems finish the race. Guard the story, guard the scarcity, and the market will guard you back forever.